is fine time that we get the 1998 racing season off and running. I don't know about you folks at home, but a 1-month layoff was just too long for me. USA Motorsports ready to go racing, and we're going to kick things off with our monster truck obstacle course. So let's show you the brackets and how they're going to break down. The first pair will be the Virginia Giant up against Bulldozer. Then the highly anticipated matchup between Bigfoot and Equalizer. Then it's Executioner and Samson, with Firestone Wilderness Mike getting a bye.
That's going to be both races. Firestone Wilderness was a draw of all the trucks. He won. He gets a bye in the obstacle course and the drag racing.
Let's take a look at the race course here on the Metrodome. It's a big track, Mike.
It is a giant track, and it's going to be very fast. The monster trucks will start right in this area. They'll go over 2 cars. Then there's about 75 feet in between the first set of cars and the second 6 cars. A lot of air in here, then a hard turn over this area, and then down around a real tight turn. If you knock this pole over right there, Ralph, you will get disqualified. Then back across the cars, with the actual finish line being on the last car second time around. The same goes for the other side of the course.
Should be an exciting racetrack. Let's take a look at the matchups and the trucks that are going to be in these fights. The first one, the new beautifully painted Virginia Giant, a 1997 Ford F-250, 429 cubic inches, 1,500 horsepower. This is a monster.
Deihl Wilson started out truck pulling. He moved into the monster truck business. For you old-time drag racers, Ohio George Montgomery still builds the motors for this truck, and they are big horsepower Hemis. They're fast. Absolutely beautiful paint scheme, but Mike, it ain't my favorite. This one is here. How can you argue with this one? The Bulldozer, 97 bow tie, 502 cubic inch engine, 1,200 nostril snorting horsepower coming out of this one. I'm telling you, Ralph, you love this thing. You know, and I'm proud of you. I really am. You're a stayer.
I am not a bandwagon fan. There's no doubt about it. I picked my guy. It's Bulldozer, and I'm going to town with it.
And so in this race, you're telling me you like the Bulldozer?
Well, I think the Giant is a beautiful truck. I think they have done a masterful job of putting that thing together. The paint scheme is fantastic. I have not seen a monster truck more artistically done paint-wise. It's beautiful.
Deihl Wilson did that himself. He owns a body shop back in Virginia, and he does the work himself on that truck, and that's why you're seeing such great paint work on it.
There he is, strapped inside, but Mike, how do you argue with the horns and the nostrils?
Horsepower. It's pretty easy, Ralph.
It should be a pretty good matchup. The Bulldozer and the Virginia Giant going at it. That second turn, Mike, I think is the one that's really going to make the difference.
I think we're going to see quite a bit of DQs there, because I believe their guys are going to try to cut that pole too tight, catch it with the left rear tire. When it falls over, it's DQ. There's no discussion on it.
The 1998 racing season set to get underway with the Virginia Giant and the Bulldozer kicking it off on TV.
Virginia Giant, a little trouble. Now you got to swing hard and run back.
Oh, it's tough making that turn. Look, they're both struggling.
It's anybody's race because they're both in trouble, Ralph. No one's got a handle on what's going on. Deihl Wilson, it's big time, but now let's see what happens. Is it going to happen?
Bulldozer Mike was the first one to the line, but he knocked the pole over. That could be a bit of a penalty.
We're going to have to get some kind of a judge's ruling down on course, because these guys have really got a problem. I thought this course was going to be easier than that, Ralph, but they're running way down trying to get enough power on it. This is a biting course. They can't spin the back of it around to bring the truck back, so you're going to have to really go a long ways down the track before you can ever come back and make this turn.
And you can be sure that the other competitors all took a look at that first round. They want to see how that pair drove the course, and they're going to have to make some adjustments to their line next when they come up.
Yeah, they were lined up like birds on a rail on the other side watching that race, trying to really get a handle on what's going on. I don't think you're going to see people run down as far as Deihl Wilson did in that race. I think you'll see a lot of them take the cars less aggressively and try to make a real sharp turn.
Well, the next pair, Mike, is really the one that everybody was anticipating anyway. This is Bigfoot going up against Equalizer. There it is, the king of all the monsters for so many years, Bigfoot, the 1997 Ford F-150, 572 cubic inches, 1,400 Bigfoot horsepower.
They just put a new motor in that truck Wednesday night. Finished it up, buckled it up, and hauled it up here, and it is going to be big horsepower. Lots of compression.
But he has got to go against this truck here, Equalizer, the 97 Chevy S10, 540 cubic inches, 1,400 horsepower coming out of the bow tie as well.
And there's probably not anyone better on a course like we're looking at tonight than David Morris. He is a master at the obstacle course.
So the champion from 97 sits right there in Equalizer, and the man who thought he would be champion at the end of the season, trying to claim the title here in 98, driving Bigfoot, set to go.
Keep your eye on the right-hand side, the Equalizer truck. I think that's the truck that's going to be the big horsepower truck here tonight. He's got a great driving technique. The truck, the rear end's on lock, so he can spin it around a lot quicker.
He got a great start to the Equalizer. Morris spins it around. That's a pretty good turn, but here comes Bigfoot.
Just right back on the course. It's still anyone. Morris swings wide. Now we're going to go for it. This is going to be very... Well, my vantage point didn't tell me who won, but I saw Morris get up on 3 wheels.
Well, it lived up to its billing. It was a fantastic fight between Bigfoot and the Equalizer. Let's see if we can get the official word from the judges.
I think the course is a lot harder than anyone ever anticipated it being. I think that it's just really putting the handful for these drivers. Let's watch David Morris go around this last turn. He gets a little bit wide, swings the truck back, now hammers hard on it, a lot of air under it, and he's been declared the official winner, Ralph.
Yeah, and Virginia Giant was given the victory in the first competition as well between him and Bulldozer. So apparently hitting that pole was what cost Bigfoot the victory in the first pair. Now the next set is going to be the Executioner, a 1997 Chevy 3500, 572 cubic inch engine and 1,400 horsepower in this one as well.
Injected alcohol, blown motor, all the good stuff from the Hall Brothers Racing Camp, and they're going to go up against, well, a legend himself. This truck runs well, should do good on this type of course, a good tight course. I believe these Hall boys can handle the tight course.
Well, and the truck that everybody was talking about in the pit area earlier because of the new paint scheme is Samson, and boy, does it look great. The big bulging biceps are back. A 96 Chevrolet, 560 cubic inches, 1,350 horsepower. He's down 50 horsepower from his competition in Executioner, but look at the new paint scheme.
This truck, they've just gone through the motor recently. The only problems they're having with it, Ralph, is so much horsepower, they twist the ring gear and pinions out of the back of it. Brand new ring gear and pinion in the back of it tonight. He hopes that'll hold all the horsepower that this Hemi's putting out. Don't ever count out that little Chevrolet, though. It is always tough, no matter what kind of racetrack you're on. And this racetrack is tough tonight. It is very, very difficult to drive.
Executioner on the left side of your screen going up against Samson.
Anyone's race at this point, they're both close. Patrick.
Oh, Executioner knocked down one of the poles, Mike. That could be the telltale right there.
Well, it is, but look at Samson.
He hit a pole too, though, Mike.
And Samson, that was a great race, wasn't it, Ralph? That was really, really tough. Patrick has tweaked this truck all winter long. He tore the truck completely down, rebuilt it, and there you see the Executioner truck. They had horsepower, but not enough. Samson rebuilt this, powder-coated all the frame, went into the motor, really got the horsepower up on it.
Here's a look at Samson coming to the finish, and he takes out that last pole right there. Now they're
Ralph,
saying that this is going to be a rerun, Mike.
Anytime there is 2 disqualifications in one race, they both immediately have to go back, or they will both go back to the starting line and rerun that race. Rules say that they should be coming back immediately. We'll have to check.
Well, looks like some of the USA officials are going back out over there to talk to him. Dan Patrick and Samson. And here's a look at what happened to Executioner. Right there, he
that left front
tags the pole.
Left front tire tagged the pole on it. These guys are going for broke right now. Well, the rules say that they must come back to the starting line immediately, and that's what they're doing at this point. Here comes the Executioner.
And now Dan Patrick rolls Samson out. I like this new blue paint scheme on there. I think it looks really sharp.
Oh, it's beautiful. Just outstanding.
They still got to finish the tailgate on the truck, he said, and they should have that done any day now. You can see how it's blank on the back of the truck. They're going to have that all painted up as well.
Well, got to think this has got to eat on your mind just a little bit. Just went out and ran the truck. Both the trucks going to have temperatures in the motors, and that's the critical point of it. You want to keep these trucks as cool as possible. They do run better warm because they are alcohol engines, but you've got to go right back to the starting line. You know that both of you made a mistake. What do? Do you go for broke on it, or you just try to complete the course without knocking down an obstacle?
It seems like most of the trucks, since the first pair, are starting to take that second group of cars a little bit easier, like you had suggested. I think they're going to go a little bit easier again.
I definitely do too, Ralph. I don't think you're going to see the flat-out speed that you'll see in the track right now. Patrick, a little bit of a lead. He's light over him. Now let's see what happens when they cut the corner. Patrick's got a pretty good lead, about a half turn, but right now the executioner just took out another pole. Patrick makes it around without a penalty.
What's going to go to Dan Patrick. The part that got him crossed up the first run was that last pole over the finish line jump, and this time he clears it smoothly. So Dan Patrick wins the last pair. Let's check in with Dave Burns down in the pit area.
Ralph, Deihl Wilson agrees with you guys that it is tough tonight out here at the Metrodome, but it's not because of the course, Deihl. You told me your truck might not be just right for this course.
Yeah, the truck is not set up. It doesn't turn as short as some of these trucks. We'll get it changed. It'll be better. Next time we'll go after them for sure.
But tell them how much you enjoyed the course.
Hey, the course is a lot of fun. It's a little bit tight, but I like the long start. It gives us a good feel for the course. You got to really stop fast, turn it on a dime, and go for it.
All right, we'll run around and get some other opinions, Ralph. But so far, Deihl Wilson loves it.
All right, Dave, thank you. And so does this Metrodome crowd here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as the 1998 racing season gets underway. Stay with us. Motor Madness coming right back to Minneapolis, Minnesota, right after this. Welcome back to the Metrodome, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Pro Arena trucks set to make their first run here in 1998. Now, there have been some changes in the rule book here in 98, Mike, and I think these are all good rules.
Well, I think there's something that you're going to have to keep this racing at the level that it is now, so that just about anyone can compete in this type of racing route. I see all of these as a necessity as far as racing is concerned.
Basically, what this does is it keeps the cost down and the high technology of racing that we see in some of the other divisions out of this class. We want this to be basically a bone stock, as you found it, either in the junkyard or on the showroom floor type of truck.
I think the most important thing is just to keep them as stock as possible. This is going to be a great course. You start over on the far side. Right here is the starting line. Over the first set of humps, there's a little straightaway. Then you go down, make a turn at this end, go across. There's another jump right there. Then you got to make a hard left, and you've got a good run, and then you come out at this area, then back onto the course, down to this part of the racetrack, over the whoops right here, over the finish line here, and back to finish it up. Gonna be fun.
Well, this is our first truck. Sean Loader out of Davenport, Iowa, ready to go.
We've seen this truck run a lot of times, and it's kind of what you need in the Pro Arena truck. It's got small tires on it. It makes the course real tight. Got a pretty good little horsepower motor underneath it. And all he's going to have to do now is hold on for the finish line. Going to go to the whoop part of the track. This is the little set of bumps that's taking up with the outside tires. Now he's got to head for the straightaway. He's got a turn that he's getting wide on. Real hard set of bumps there now. A little jump. Got to hang back left, and you need to just really be on the throttle coming across. And I missed this because you jump right here at the end finish. A Dukes of Hazzard type jump, and I took it back the other way in my telestrator, but I had meant to come across. That was my mistake, Rob.
Well, 33.21. That's what it was, 33.21. Here's that big push to the finish.
Right over the Dukes of Hazzard jump. Watch the tires come out. Now you got to do is hold on and land.
I like the hand and the thumbs up out the window.
That looked great.
Well, here's one we really got to keep our eyes on. Jim Hopkins out of Excelsior Springs, Missouri. This was a truck with that 351 and that Bronco that a lot of people really thought was going to be a challenge to Brozovich as the season rounded out, and I think he's looking to come out of the gate smoking this year, Mike.
I look for it too. Joe's got a lot of competitors here. This guy had 3 first place last year. He finished it up at Beaumont, won there. He won in Indy. He's tough. He's just taking his time over those jumps. Now let's watch him on this because it's tight down there. You got a real set of jump, another little jump, then a hard turn back to the left, and now you got to go to the finish line wide open, and he did just that.
Wow, but he was a little bit slower too at a 35.97.
You know, I really would have thought that he would have been very fast on this course, as long as the course is.
Here he comes around that final turn again, Mike.
Gets a little wide, then he's got to come back. Instead of kind of taking an angle at it, he goes hard to the finish line. There it is, tires up, big shot at it. A good landing, but just not fast enough.
Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Well, Ralph, Sean Loader was a little bit hesitant to be the first guy to go out there tonight, but he's getting congratulations all the way around. We'll get a quick word with him. Sean, how was the course for you being the first one to get out there and check it out?
Oh, it was all right. The only problem was over on the far side of those cars, those real rippy-doos. Real backbreaker, but otherwise the rest of the course was real nice.
It looks like those turtle shells were really pretty easy on the far end.
Those were all right, yeah, they were real smooth. It's just that one over there that was real rough.
Okay, guys, keep your eyes on the whoops.
Well, this is not a race division. That is just for the guys. Kathleen McNamara having at it.
Well, she took a hard shot over the first jump. Now she's got to keep it in line. If you see this little right there, any one of those cones or markers that you knock over cost you 5-second penalty, and you can't stand 5 seconds in this racing. Now,
she's smoking big time out of the back of the truck too, Mike.
Sounds like she's broken the front end on it. Horsepower's coming up, but the truck's just not moving as fast as the motor sounds like it should. She's not going to the finish line real hard either.
Now she's over the final jump with a 37.73. Now remember, the fastest group of 15 trucks will come back for a second run. Now let's take a look at the suspension on Kathleen's truck and see how the Noid was working.
Boy, it's taking a beating. That's the turtle shell part of the course, and that's where the drivers are saying that is the roughest part of the course. She needs to swing out this way over the jump. She didn't have a lot of speed when she got to that jump, and I think that was partly because the truck was hurt just a little bit.
Well, the national champ, Joe Brozovich, is up next. Hole number 88, Joliet, Illinois. This 74 Ford Bronco really put it to the competition last year.
He has been a winner here the last 2 years in a row. Pressure's on Joe, and this truck should shine in this type of a race course. It's longer, it's faster, it's definitely a Joe-type track. Let's see how he handles it.
And the crowd really getting behind him, too, as they really start to cheer as Brozovich works his way through the woods.
And he is fast at this point, Ralph, very fast.
Well, let's see what he can do. 33.24 is the time to beat.
He's
Here comes the run to the final jump.
Look at that.
He flies that Bronco, 27.74.
Joe wants 3 in a row. He wants the record for 3 in a row.
But he is well on his way, Mike. And don't forget, he's going to get to come back and get a second run at it, so he might be able to better the time. Boy, he went flying over this last jump.
Good tight turn. Watch where he lands, Ralph. And then he goes up on the second set of cars. Oh,
on board, fly your Pro Arena truck.
Now, what? That's
Joe Brozovich has set the mark, a 27.74, as that King of the Hill Bronco from 1997 is ready to hang on to that crown for one more year. Stay with us, we're coming back. Pro Arena trucks have been providing some pretty good excitement here in the Metrodome. John Youngblood is going to be the next competitor up. Truck number 17 out of Corder, Missouri. Chevy pickup, 1984 edition.
2 years ago, had a real quick truck that was hard to beat. Built this truck last year and just has had problems like that.
Oh, and he blew out the right front, Mike, and lost one as well.
Sheared all the lug nuts off of the left front on it. And, well, that didn't take. Blew the right front tire out, sheared the lug nuts off the left front. Real hard to steer when that happens.
Yeah, that is not the quick way around. And he sent the one tire flying right off into the new trucks that are here on display. I'm sure the local dealer's going to love that.
I think he's going to rip the center out of that tire.
There it goes.
It's gone.
Right into the brand new trucks parked over there.
Now watch, this tire comes off, this tire goes flat. Here we go.
There goes the flat on the right.
There goes the other tire with the center out of it. And the rear tires, he's... Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm sure that dealer probably thought it'd be a great idea. Oh, there's going to be all these fans there. They all love trucks. I'll go put my new trucks out on display, and that'll be a great way for them to see it. You think he's going to feel the same way when he comes back to the race track and it's got a big donut parked on the side of it, Dave Burns?
We'll find out. John, this truck hadn't been the best of luck for you. What about the remainder of 98? You going to keep this thing, or is she ready for the junk pile?
It's hard telling. We're going to do some definite work on it, that's for sure.
Now, what happened? I mean, was it just total failure out there? Could you feel it going?
I know not till it hit the ground.
Kaboom, he was done.
So John Youngblood, done for the night. He had a pretty good season last year. I mean, he was always one of the more aggressive competitors.
Ran real hard, and I think he's got a good idea with this truck. It's a good horsepower truck, but he's got the wheelbase shortened on it so that he can get around a tight, small arena course, but yet he's got enough power to run the big arena also.
Well, here's another one of those trucks that we've been waiting to see what happens with. This is the number 31 truck of Steve Hopkins. We saw his brother earlier.
He will definitely go into the 15 without any kind of mechanical problems coming up. This truck is fast, and they just really lay the wood on it. They don't back out. They know how to drive these courses. He's at 16 seconds now. He's gonna crack the good 20 or something in that area.
And let's see him fly this Bronco. I guarantee he's going to go for the distance record. Here he comes, Steve Hopkins. 28-18. He's definitely coming back.
He's gonna give Joe just all Joe wants before the night's over with.
And I guarantee you, he didn't show us everything he's got in that truck, too. He knew what he had to do to get into the next round, save it, and go after him in the second round.
This is the first time around on this course. Now he knows what the course does, how the truck reacts. He'll go for broke next round.
Remember, it is not the best time out of round number 2. It is the best time out of either of the rounds. So if you run a better time in round number 2, that's the one that wins. But if you happen to do it in round number 1, that's the time that they'll take. Number 95, Chuck Dunn.
81 cubic inches, a little bigger motor in this Samurai. He's retired. Says he's a couch potato.
Got the license plate still strapped on.
And still the windshield might be a little cold going home in that. He's not letting up for anything. This is a good idea. A little 81 cubic inch Samurai, and boy, this guy is going for it.
He is getting around.
Look at that, Ralph. He's going to be there. He's going to be there big time.
Boy, 29.86.
Runs less than a 30 with 81 cubic inches.
That extra 1 cubic inch made a big difference between this one and the other one, didn't it?
No doubt about it.
Let's take a look at this run again.
Moved him into 4th place. Now he's headed for the finish line area. Big air under it. Hold on. Well, that landing didn't look too bad, did it?
Seems to have a much better suspension. Well, do you think Hopkins can get him in the second round, Dave?
We'll ask him. You know, Steve Hopkins told me earlier there's only 2 times when he gets to shaking. One is when he's driving his pro arena truck. The other is when he's talking on TV. So, listen, Hopkins, how much information did your brother share with you to make that good run out there?
A little bit, but it felt real good.
How about round 2? Can you get it faster?
We're going to do it. Both of us.
All right, look for the brothers again in the fast 15.
I like it. It's definite.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be very, very strong. And Joe Brozovich has definitely circled them on the entry list as the #1 competitors to watch out for. Bill McCoy and his little truck known as Concoction showed up in one of the first races last year. And, Mike, throughout the course of the 97 season, they worked on this truck and worked on it and worked on it. And they got quicker and quicker at every round.
And I loved it every round. It's got a V6 Chevrolet in this little truck, 79 Toyota, and I always thought it was a great combination. He won in Nashville. He was first and second. He has yet to win with us this last year, but boy, he's trying hard tonight. This guy's getting it. 22 seconds about that part of the track.
27.74, the time to beat for first, but he might get himself into the fast 15.
Well, he did that, 29.45. I believe that's the best run that we have seen him last year. I don't think he had anything quite this good. That truck is going to be a winner this year. That's going to move him into third spot, I believe, Ralph.
Bill McCoy, 29.45, coming around that last turn. You can see the wheels fighting for the traction, up on 3 wheels for a part of the turn. Makes that last squirt across the turn and puts himself into the fast 15. Plenty more of the Pro Arena trucks yet to go tonight, including the name of Rory Fisher, one of the big dogs from 97, yet to make his debut here in 98. Don't miss it. We're coming back in a minute. Here's a look at the top 10 so far in round number 1 of the Pro Arena Truck Challenge. Joe Brozovich still the only truck to dip down into the 27 range. He leads them all. 10 trucks so far have positioned themselves to come back for the top 15, fast 15. We still got 5 slots opened up, and I don't think Backman is going to be one of them, Dave.
No, I don't think so either, Ralph. In fact, I'm sure he wishes his truck went straight at the end there, too. Gary, what happened?
We coming out that end corner down there, and it didn't feel right, but John Deere truck was running really hard. Come off that moguls, and when we turned there and just didn't throttle hard because we got to run tough to try to beat these guys. And boy, coming there, and I tried to turn that wheel, and she just wouldn't come. By then it was too late because we had to throttle buried to the ground because tough competition, but that's just one of them things that go wrong with them. And it's just a tough break for the John Deere truck. But
that kind of makes sense, Ralph. You know, it may never be feeling too funny not to steer it, but it always feels good enough to put the gas down.
Well, you got to try.
Mash the motor.
And you cannot lift off at this bunch. There's no way. Rick Witt, truck number 472. He's going to give it his shot, an 80 Jeep Cherokee.
Big motor, 401 cubic inches. If horsepower is what it takes, this Jeep's got it. Wagoneer. Got to weigh a pretty good.
Yeah, it's not one of the lightest trucks.
No, it is. Maybe the biggest horsepower. He does go over the snuff bar real quick. Let's see how he does on this hard turn with the bump. Getting some good speed. Now let's see. All he has to do is just really take a shot at the finish line. He needs to go at that hard, and he did. Look at that, Ralph.
Guess what?
71. What did
we got a new quick time. 27.71 for Rick Witt.
We talked at the top of the show, Ralph, about how fast this racetrack was going to be. That just goes to show that it's going to be very fast.
This big truck just ate those bumps alive, Mike.
This is one place that the weight helped him, Ralph, because the truck doesn't bounce around because it's light. Look at the steering wheel. He holds it very steady. Now when he gets into this part right here, he's got a lot of horsepower. Oh, he got a 5-second penalty, I'm being told, Ralph, because he must have knocked over one of the orange sticks somewhere over on the track that I haven't seen.
Oh, boy, that's too bad.
Well, but, you know, he's still got another shot at it.
Truck number 42, known as Killing Time, Sonny Dorman.
84 4-cylinder Ford. And we've talked about these things. One of these days are going to get one of these little Rangers right, and they're going to be just awesomely quick around the course. The little tires is what you need to make the tight turns. This thing will handle over the bump, handle over the turn, just get enough power to go to the finish line. Just slings it in, a little air under the front of it. Now, cock the wheels when he come over that last jump so he can be lined up to the finish line much quicker. Boy, that's
that was
a great run.
Strong run, 29.02.
One of the important things, Ralph, is when they come over that last jump, if they can set the back of the truck out.
Here's that last jump. Boy, he really flew this one, too.
Oh, big time.
Look at that.
That's beautiful.
And the suspension just soaked up every bit. When he landed, came to a nice, pretty stop.
Gonna drop him into the 4 spot.
He's ready to go. Mike Nelson.
Nelson says he's tweaked on this all winter long.
It sure looked stout that first time we saw it last year.
Oh, he's running rear wheel drive only. The front wheel I didn't see any movement out of the front wheels. The back tires were spinning, the front wasn't. He had problems with that. He runs a Ranger front end and a Ranger transfer case with a Chevrolet Ford rear end and a V8 Chevrolet motor. 383 cubic inches. It should be quick.
A little squirrely through some of the tight turns, but awfully strong down the chutes. He'll be real good here coming to this last jump.
We thought he would be good all year long. We thought he'd be someone to contend for the championship. He looks good tonight, though. A 29.64, that's nothing to sneeze at.
No. And ought to put him in the hunt, I would think.
I think I definitely will. Now, the big jump puts him to 8th spot, so he's in the top 15. That's where he had to go. This area right in here, Ralph, you need to come off that jump real hard, kick the back of it out, and point the front end towards the finish line before the finish line ever comes into view.
Rick Witt did a nice job in truck 472 until he hit the pole, Dave.
Yeah, it was a very good run. In fact, Rick Witt knew exactly which one he hit because that added the 5 seconds. How good was the run otherwise? It looked great.
Run good. That's the first time we've had this out in about 15 years. So we kind of put her together quick and brought it out to this race, but it seems to run good.
I mean, you're going to join us all year this year? You like it so much?
We used to race enduro, Baja, desert racing, and we just kind of thought we'd try this once, seeing as we're sponsoring the Pro Arena stuff, so thought we'd try it.
He looks good to me, Ralph.
Yeah, he sure did. That started running a lot of off-road out in the deserts, been to Baja. Don Williams had a great summer in this truck, number 73. Says they really got this thing figured out, Mike. It's kind of a stock car styled setup. If you take a look at it when the truck comes at you, you can see how they kind of got the frame a little off-centered almost.
Well, the truck really is working well, Ralph. Now let's watch it go across this part of it. Now right in here, Ralph, you need to have the front tires cut to the left and the back of the truck kicked way out. So when you make that turn, you're headed to the finish line, almost a good angle.
Hey, there's your new quick time, 27:17. I told you they've been working on this thing.
351 cubic inch Ford. It's a short wheelbase truck, got the small tires on it. And as you mentioned, that chassis offsets it. It is great.
Here's a look coming to the last corner.
Right in here, you need the back of the truck come around that way, so the front will come this way. That'll line it up for the angle shot coming to the finish line. And you want to really be hard on it. You're not going to have to turn the tires much. You just want to kind of cut across it at a real straight angle. Now there, see the back of the truck comes around and he brings the front towards the finish line. Now he can hang it out on that finish line for all he's worth. That truck is going to be tough tonight. Boy, we've got a lot of tough trucks. They're so close.
Yep, and we are not done yet. There are still some more Pro Arena trucks yet to go. And if you like what you see in this Pro Arena truck racing, here's a look at USA's upcoming schedule where you can see one in person. Well, old Don Williams had a really good season. In fact, claimed a championship in the summer series of Pro Arena truck racing. And Dave Burns, he is well on his way to maybe claiming the indoor title as well.
And in fact, last year, Ralph, the truck made its debut right here at the Metrodome, but at 4:30 in the afternoon, he broke, and he was out for the night. He never got a chance to run it, Don. Things have sure turned around after this summer and now this run.
Yeah, I hope the truck ran real good. It felt real good. We had a real good summer with the truck, and I hope we have a good winter.
Can you be any faster in round 2?
I can be a lot faster in round 2.
Ouch.
Ooh, Ralph.
He's going to have to be, though, Mike, because the Hopkins brothers and Brozovich, I believe all three of them still have plenty left to go.
I think they all learned a little lesson on that first run. And we can see them just keep cutting the times.
This is old number 113, TJ Gavouche.
Right, Ralph. 351 cubic inch Ford, and TJ's having his handful of problems right now, but boy, he's mashing on the motor. TJ is going to try to go for broke. 21 seconds. Hold on. No.
Oh, TJ. Boy, he stood it up and never lifted it. Don't loop it.
And that's even worse.
That killed him.
Look at the right front tire, Ralph.
He's done.
And listen to the motor. We've lost tranny. We've lost.
But he clocked in.
He finished. Other side. This tire.
You know what, though, Mike? TJ was a last-minute entry today, too. Sometimes you just should have stayed home.
Broke this time, and I think he's got the transfer case gone also. Either that or a drive shaft, which comes in back there.
From right here in Minnesota, TJ was all excited to go racing here in front of the...
Watch this.
Oh, that's what did it.
That takes out the U-joint right there. See, his tires locked up. The tire's not even turning, so we wiped that completely out. Now he gets all out of shape, and the reason that happens, this tire's finally broke loose and started to spin as he goes towards the finish line. Look at the air coming off this now. He just nosedives it off of this jump. It's straight into the ground. Watch that tire. Doesn't spin. Now he's still locked up. Gonna break loose right in this area. This is why he's spinning that donut, because this tire is not spinning. Finally gets loose, but look how the hub is just warped all the pieces. We're talking about a new wheel on this one. And he was 17th, Ralph. He was so close with all those problems.
Yeah, he was right there. He was right there. TJ Gavouche. That is how you say it.
That's
Ukrainian.
exactly right.
It's a Ukrainian last name. He was telling us about it earlier today.
Good sport about the whole thing.
Oh, well, Maple Grove, Minnesota's TJ Gavouche. Splat. We'll be back. Welcome back. Here is a look at the top standings right now. The current standings as we're working our way through round number 1 at Pro Arena Trucks. Don Williams on top. Joe Brozovich still trying to catch him. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Well, I'm standing by with TJ, and TJ, we're under tow here. I always thought this would be a lot of fun, but this is a real drag. What happened out there?
Oh, I don't know. Must have hit one of the jumps just wrong. Something broke. I don't know. Last thing I know, it popped out of gear or whatever broke underneath. Might have been a transfer case, and she just popped.
Hey, Ralph, we're leaving the building, so I'm going to send it back up to you.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't climb on board the truck, Dave. It's a little bit colder outside than it is inside.
Tell him to get out and get back in here.
It won't take him long once he gets outside that door and realizes how chilly it is.
He's not a big, tough guy when it gets about 20 degrees outside. Here's Rosenthal, top 5 last year. Always a tough competitor.
Mike Rosenthal comes out of Peoria, Illinois, East Peoria, Illinois to be exact.
Well, he's got a great run going.
Yeah, he sure does. Look at that.
Oh, dances right across the dip area. Now down to the far part. This is important. You got to swing hard. Look at this aerial view. This is beautiful. This guy has got a great run. We're going to see it from the top.
And a 27-26. Hey, he's a player.
Oh, man, that was a great shot out of the top of the building. That moves him right into the second spot. I'm telling you, he's got to be happy about that with the dogs barking.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a 3-truck battle coming back into round number 2. Mike, it is now a 4-truck battle.
You know, last year, Ralph, we had 2 trucks, sometimes 3 trucks that could play the game, all of them at the same time. Now we've got what looks to be 5 or 6 trucks that can all play in the same arena at the same time. They're all good quality race trucks.
And Lawrence Ransdell out of Higginsville, Missouri. Ready to go in his Chevy Blazer. It's a 79 with a 350 in it.
Zabasco. Got a little high. This is 2-wheel drive. He's got a straight axle on the front end of it, where he used to have a front end, 4-wheel drive type front end. He's still got a good run going. He's going to try to go on with this. Guy traveled a lot last year and learned a lot in racing. Running through stock mufflers, he doesn't make a lot of noise, but boy, he makes a lot of horsepower. In the 29-second zone, over to the 31. Hold on.
Whoa, he got a pretty good flight out of it. And a 33.61. Let's see if that gets him into the...
Oh, I see a shock hanging off the back of it. Jerk the eye out of that. Right there, there's an eye that bolts that up to the shock, to the top of the truck.
Right now, he's in 14th, too, Mike. He just squeaks in.
Watch that. Watch this shock when he lands. The shock bottoms out, and he pops the eye off of it. The only way to do that, replace the shock. There it is. The eye's going off of it.
Greg Osmond.
Oh, he'll be a player.
Oh, yeah.
New paint on it.
Citrus Heights, California. Northern California driver giving it a run here in round number 1 at Pro Arena Trucks from the Metrodome.
Boy, he had a bad break at that point. He really had some terrible breaks tonight. Truck is not handling, and he hauled all the way 2,000 miles to be here, and it's just not working for him. If he can get in that 15, then he can maybe make some adjustment.
Made a good corner there.
And a good run to the...
Hey, that's going to get him back into the next group.
This truck is nosing over. It's nose heavy tonight, and I've never seen this truck nose heavy. The tail of it is always heavy, and it carries the front end, so it doesn't nose over into the ground and slow the truck down.
Here's a look to watch the nose. As soon as he gets it in the air, comes straight back down.
Watch, this nose still should be up in the air at this time, but it doesn't. Nose is over, puts him into the ground. Even with all of that, and he went into the ground 2 or 3 times, he's like in fifth place.
Well, this is a truck we've been talking about a lot earlier today. Rick Armbrust.
Boy, he turned a lot of heads when he showed up.
98 Ford F. And it is pretty trick.
It is a very trick truck. He's running the same stock motor he had in his Bronco last year. Said he and Adam, his son, have really been putting a lot of time in on this truck. Just completed it a day or 2 ago. The truck is working well. The motor's working well for it. We're going to see more horsepower, I think, later in the year. But this is a fiberglass Ford truck. Really looks good, and it's performing very well. 26 seconds, nothing to sneeze at.
Last run of the night in round number 1 at 28:59. And I think that might be good enough to get him back. He said while everybody else was eating Thanksgiving dinner, he was busy working on the truck. That's how dedicated he was. That moves him into 5th, and all that hard work over the winter has got him racing here in 98 and coming back for round number 2.
Well, 5th place is nothing to sneeze at, especially in a class that we've got tonight. You can't say enough about having so many top runners all at the same time.
Well, the Fast 15 are set for round number 2. Will Joe Brozovich get knocked off the king of the hill? Don Williams has a solid grip on the number 1 spot right now. Come back to the Metrodome with us to find out after these words. Welcome back to Metrodome here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You know, we got a lot of great monster truck and pro arena truck racing going on for you here on this Friday night. But you know, if you always are looking for just a little bit more, this tape right here, Monster Trucks and Pros, that Mike is holding is probably the best thing to get. Wouldn't you say, Professor?
Oh, I love it. Of course, I would, Ralph.
I know, your picture's on the cover. I figured you would love it.
Well, we had to touch that picture up quite a bit, though.
It is a great tape, though. It's got all the highlights of the 1997 season, including some of this great racing action right here, all masterfully commentated by one professor of truckology, Mike Galloway.
Well, I think you're there also, Ralph.
That's what they tell me. By the way, if you're one of the few people that orders 5,000 copies of this in the next 5 minutes, you will receive not a Velvet Elvis, but a Velvet Professor painting. That's right, hanging up on your wall right next to the box cover. Ooh, Mike even might sign a few for you. You get Monster Trucks and Pros, the thunder and lightning of arena racing. It's just $15.99 plus $4 shipping and handling. Call the number on the screen there, 1-800-771-3666, or write to Monster Trucks, P.O. Box 22499, Kansas City, Missouri, and those numbers on the screen. Pick up your copy of Monster Trucks and Pros. All right, we are set to go now with the obstacle course round number 2. And here's how those brackets are going to break down, Mike. And for the first time, we're going to see Firestone Wilderness.
I'm excited about seeing that truck run. I'm excited about seeing any truck run, but I want to see the Firestone Wilderness truck run. That's a beautiful truck. It's a Chandler truck, so you know it's ready. Equalizer, you got to watch him. He can really run these little tight obstacle courses.
And he's going to go up against the Virginia Giant here in round number 2.
Oh, does that not look beautiful, Ralph? Look at the paint on that. It grabs you.
I like the eyes and the word giant on the sides.
Those are very pretty. Of course, I like green eyes.
Now remember, you score points in the obstacle course and the drag race, and it's a combination of those two that crowns you king of the hill at the end of the night. So it's very important not to miss any points.
You take those points to the next week and the next week and the next week, and it just accumulating for 1 year from right now. We're going to be back here. Oh, Wilson, hard on it, but look at the Equalizer. Now Wilson's coming back. He's going to tight. Come on, Deihl, get tight.
Giant struggling.
Oh, but we took one out on the far side, but Wilson missed one of them. I think we're going to see these guys come back and race again.
I think that's going to be a double DQ, don't you?
I think that they will come back and go at it one more time. Wilson took out, went around the pole at the finish.
Let's watch this from the roof cam, Mike. There's a unique shot, if that doesn't make it dizzy.
Oh, it does. Got a lead. Now, good turn, but he's going to take this pole out. Right there.
Meanwhile, Giant just misses a whole section.
Deihl misses that pole. All right, now they straighten out. What's going to happen? Double disqualification. They'll come back and go again.
Yep, and they'll do it right away, too. So Deihl brings the truck back around. The Giant will stay.
Doesn't take, and I don't think you'll remember this, but there was a gentleman named Ohio George Montgomery that ran AA supercharged gas cars for quite some time. Had a Mustang back in the 60s that was a very fast car, and he had a Willis coupe. Well, he builds motors for Deihl Wilson, Virginia Giant out of Winchester, Virginia.
Samson's going to go up against a Firestone Wilderness. That'll be the other pair. You know, that bye might actually cost Firestone Wilderness in this second round because he hasn't seen the track yet.
Hasn't been on the track. You got to know that he's talked to a lot of people. I still think that you're going to look at a situation where you can talk all you want to. You don't realize how tight that course is till you get out there on it and actually try to put your truck through it.
Absolutely.
It's biting so well that you can't spin the truck. You can't kick the back of the truck out. That's where the Equalizer has the advantage. He runs a rear end that's not locked, so he can turn loose with one tire and pull with the other tire. That's why he cuts the short. Now he gets off to the side, and that's what he needs to do. He cuts that real tight. Deihl can't do it. Takes out a pole and says, "My history."
This one's going to go to Equalizer. This one goes to the Equalizer.
And only because David Morris lived through the whole thing and knew what the game was all about.
Yep. And this is really going to be, I'm telling you, this is really going to be a problem for Firestone Wilderness.
Well, see, he comes off over on this side, and he does that intentionally. That lets the truck kick out and get around the track a lot quicker. Now, see, he swings out wide here, so he doesn't take that pole out. That lines him up for the finish line, but he has no speed at that point. The truck is almost idling over the cars. That's how tight this course is. Possibly should have stretched it out a little bit.
Well, Mike, it's time now for Firestone Wilderness to make its TNN television debut. He's going to go up against Samson, and you talked about the turning abilities of David Morris's truck, and Samson has another one of those trucks that has a great ability to turn on a dime.
It does. Eric, the young gentleman that drives this Firestone Wilderness truck.
No, I'm talking about Samson.
Samson
has the ability to turn on the dime.
Dan can get the truck around, but Dan does it by kicking the back end of the truck out. And I don't think that this track or this dirt's going to let you kick the back of the truck out. I think the truck's going to stay down tight.
Well, there it is, Firestone Wilderness. And you are on board with Dan Patrick and Samson.
Oh, with sound.
Yeah, great audio. Now, they actually have plexiglass underneath where the floorboards would be in a normal truck, so they can actually see. And Dan tells me when he's making the turn, he'll actually look down through the floorboards to see where the pylons are to help try to get his turn as tight as he can. Making sure all the switches are turned on and has set the steering wheel straight.
The reason he did that, he puts it that way so he knows the tires are straight all the time. Eric Meagher in the left lane and Dan Patrick in the right lane.
Let's see if experience on this race course pays off for Samson, or if Eric Meagher can make some big noise with the Firestone Wilderness.
Patrick off to the side now. Meagher way out, way back. Overran the course.
Oh, and Patrick went right into the cone.
Didn't knock it over.
And Firestone Wilderness is going to go on. Boy, that's huge, Mike. That is really big.
Eric, a great driver, a young, aggressive young man, and boy, did a good job on that. When we see this again, let's watch Patrick. Now we're going over the first set of cars. He'll open up that Hemi. He gets a lot of speed, but now he just kind of eases off of it because he wants to really watch him turn the wheel hard to the left. He's in second gear. See this light right here? That means it's in second gear at that time. With this left hand over here, he's steering the back of the truck.
And he steers it right into the pole.
And Patrick is a little disgusted. Off to the side. Now, hard on it. Watch him. He's going to end up right there on that pole. He doesn't knock it over, but how he kept from knocking it over, I'll never know.
Real time.
Now, see the light? There's only one light on right there. He's in first gear.
It's because he's driving it right out.
Light right there. Dan's going outside. Probably has to go refuel. You have to leave the building to refuel, and that's why he's headed outside. Great crowd here tonight. Beautiful crowd.
He actually has an electric over air shifter system on that truck. It's very similar to what you would see in NHRA Pro Stock drag racing. That makes that shifter work so good.
Yes.
Don't shake your head. You know I'm right, Mike. I saw you down there nosing around. We'll be right back with more of USA Motorsports Monster Truck Challenge on TNN right after this. Well, we thought that maybe Eric Meagher was going to struggle in his debut with a Firestone Wilderness truck. But that big red Ford you see on the left side of your screen is ready to go at it with Equalizer, the champion of the series in 1997, Dave Burns. It's going to be a good fight.
Sure is, Ralph, and I found about the only thing as big as the monster trucks here tonight. This is Lurch. He's the crew chief, and yes, he calls himself Lurch, crew chief for Firestone Wilderness and Bigfoot. Lurch, good run there for Eric. What do you think about his chances this time?
He had a real good first run. Everything went real smooth. He made a clean run through with the new Firestone Wilderness truck. He didn't hit any of the barricades or cones or the poles, so he's doing real good. The Equalizer, he's hit some poles, so he got a chance that he may get disqualified, and we're just going to watch and see what happens.
All right, he's going to stand back and watch, as are we.
I thought Dave was maybe standing on top of a small ladder to do that interview. He's a big man.
Oh, boy.
He is huge.
I call him Mr. Lurch.
Yeah, Mr. Lurch, exactly.
I like to stand next to him because I look a lot thinner.
What do you think Equalizer? I'm just going to let that one go. You like Equalizer or you like Wilderness in this one?
Oh, Lurch brought up a good point that they're going to try to run the course clean, and Equalizer's had so much problems knocking over barriers. I'm going to go with Equalizer.
It's kind of hard not to, but I was really impressed with Meagher in that first run.
They are side by side off the line. They're all off to the left now. Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Equalizer is going over.
No, he's not. No, my heaven.
Upside down goes the Equalizer.
It took a week for it to lay over on its side. I didn't think it was ever going to, you know, if the barriers hadn't been there, I believe he could have driven it out. He had it all the way on his side, but he hadn't given up. He was still fighting it.
The USA Motorsports crew right on top of it. Watch this from the roof cam.
Now, they are just about as close at this point that anyone could be. Watch him when he comes off, though, right in this area. Now he lays it over his side. It's not over with. He's still driving the truck. He's trying to bring it around. But see that barrier right there? I think that's what cost it. He had to come back around and just lays it over real easy. I don't think the truck is hurt. I think he'll be back in the drag racing.
Not hitting the barrier, but what you're saying is if he didn't have the barrier there, he could have kept driving
it that way. He could have kept driving on its side.
And it might have come back around.
Brought it back on it around. Right here, Ralph, see, he's trying to drive it out. He's cutting the tires. He's not over yet. Man, it's too late at that
That would
point.
be tremendous side bite.
Oh, it is great.
That would be absolutely unbelievable side bite, and he could bring that thing back over.
It's been done before. But
now he is out of the truck. Kevin Pugh and the crew from USA Motorsports helping to get him out. They want to get this truck back over. He wants to go drag racing here in a little bit.
Well, he don't want to get all the oil and liquids up inside the motor. He wants to get it back over as quick as you can. He's looking at, it's not hurt, David. Let's go racing. Ralph, just something that you might want to remember, and probably should just let this go. The Wilderness truck has not finished the race yet.
Wow. Dave Burns, what do you think?
Well, David Morris is watching real quick here. He's watching the action, so we can see that he's trying to, as you said, get it righted so that he can race this thing again. And biggest cheerleader right now is the guy that owns this. It's David Morrison. We see fluid hopping out all over the place, and he's going to get a quick look at it here. We'll ask him for his impressions. David, initial thoughts on the damage?
Well, I don't know yet. Well, you know, there's no way to tell until we get time to check it out and look it over. So,
were you still driving it when you were on its side there?
Giving everything she had, trying to get it back up, but it just, without a locker in there, you know, if I'd have had a locker just in, I might could have saved it, but with an open rear ends, it tried, but it just didn't make it.
All right, we're going to let the champ go and see if he can get this thing back for drag racing.
Well, they are giving the win to Firestone Wilderness. So what a job by Eric Meagher. Here's a guy, Mike Galloway, who came out, had the bye on one of the toughest courses you and I have ever seen in monster truck racing. He gets past round number 1, and then he upsets the champion from 97. That's impressive.
Oh, it is impressive, but here's the thing about it. I don't know whether he upset the champion or the champion got upset.
Well, and their theory, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. They said, we're going to let Morris go out there and put himself into a position of getting into trouble, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, let him beat himself.
Beat himself.
It's what Lurch said before we started, and they did that.
Mr. Lurch.
Mr. Lurch, sir.
Yeah.
And they did that, and it worked. It worked.
Unbelievable. Firestone Wilderness, the winner of the Obstacle Course Challenge, and Equalizer goes upside down. We got plenty more coming from Minnesota shortly. But first, let's head back to the studios in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Great. Well,
sorry, little truck.
While Steve's over there tearing up our valued toys, why don't we back out to Minneapolis and see what trucks they're tearing up there? Get back for more monster trucks. Here they come.
Welcome back to USA Motorsports Monster Truck Challenge. This is the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Lately, the Minnesota Vikings have been doing a lot of football in here, but tonight we're racing with the Pro Arena trucks and the monster trucks. Ralph Shaheen along with the Professor Mike Galloway back with you. And Mike, I think round number 1 of Pro Arena trucks was very interesting. We got a new name up top there, but what was really wild was the monster trucks. We thought we were going to see David Morris maybe lock things down there, but boy, that Firestone Wilderness truck really put it to him here. Look at how Morris gets himself into trouble here.
Well, as David talked about when we interviewed him, see the tires in the air that are spinning? If it had a locked rear end, the tires on the ground would have been spinning equally as fast as the ones up on top. That would have been able to flip the truck back over on the tires, and it would have never laid on its side.
Well, side-by-side drag racing is next, and this fact of Equalizer being out, Mike, is going to have a lot to do with what happens with Firestone Wilderness.
Well, it's going to have a whole lot to do with it. Firestone Wilderness will move up and race Bigfoot. It will take Equalizer's place in that lineup. So the Wilderness will go up just like that and race the Bigfoot truck. The fast loser of any of those racers, the 6 racers that are out there, will drop down into this other bracket. And so we're going to have a loser come back from the previous round.
And that could be interesting because you would think, Mike, that maybe that fast loser might come out of that very same race between Bigfoot and Firestone Wilderness.
That's exactly what I think. I think one of those trucks will be the fast loser, whichever.
Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Ralph, David Morris, you described it. We saw it. David, you almost had her saved, but you wrecked it. You put it home for the night. What is the real problem? Why can't you come back?
Well, we don't really know how much oil we've lost. Unfortunately, I got a few other things wrong. I got a shock shaft that's bent. I don't have time to replace it before we go into this round of racing. So I really, I need more time than what I've got to check it out and get it back running.
Well, Ralph, it's a long season. Stay tuned for the 97 champ. He'll be back.
This is a good opportunity for Bigfoot to make up some points now on Equalizer as far as the chase for the championship. It's also a good opportunity for Firestone Wilderness if he's going to be a player all season to lengthen his lead.
I predict that the Firestone Wilderness truck will be a big player all year long.
I think you're right. The Virginia Giant, that's the one you're looking at right there. He's going to go up against the Bulldozer.
Okay, Ralph, like I didn't know, he's blowing smoke out of the nose.
I love that. How do you not like that?
The horns are down. Tell me which one you like, just off the top of your head.
Okay, I'll go Bulldozer.
Wow, look how quick you catch on. Never change. Some things never change.
say it for me, or do I need to say it?
Bulldozer the winner.
Thank you.
Just as Ralph had predicted.
Oh, yeah. Skycam and the horns are flying. Great start.
In that low area is where they really picked up some ground. The landing was good. You know, 2 wheels, that's nothing to worry about.
We haven't really had an opportunity yet tonight, Mike, to see the full power out of these monster trucks with the tight obstacle course that we have here in Minnesota. But now in the drag race, we're really going to see who has got the meat under the hood.
Oh, yes.
Or under the hoof if you're Bulldozer.
Split hoof. Here we go. Bulldozer.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be good. Bigfoot against Firestone Wilderness, and Bigfoot is going to get the right lane.
Well, Bigfoot, as we mentioned earlier, put a new Hemi motor, an AR motor, an Allen Roots motor in his truck just a couple of days ago. Compression on it's 15.5 to 1. So it's big horsepower. They've got the big blower on it. This is 572 cubic inches. He's really out horsepower and Eric in the Firestone Wilderness. That really doesn't mean anything.
You know what I think?
No, but I'd like to.
I think Bigfoot has got to be annoyed. He went out in the first round of the obstacle course. He saw David Morris put him away. Then he sees the Firestone Wilderness truck, which is for all intents and purposes his teammate, win the obstacle course. This guy was supposed to have won the championship last year, didn't do it. He was supposed to come back here now in '98 in Bigfoot and be the guy to take it all away from David Morris, and he's still struggling. He has got to get assertive here, get aggressive, and get back on top of the game. I think this is a really big moment for the driver of Bigfoot.
And I would suspect you're right. Now, the thing about it is, oh no, sound asleep at the starting line.
Wow! Eric Meagher is setting this one with his name in lights big time.
When we look at this on the replay, you're going to see something that's just absolutely unbelievable. Look at the roof cam. Look how far Meagher is out at the start. He jumps him probably a truck and a half off the line, and Bigfoot,
he smoked him.
When they wake up, he finds out that it is absolutely too late.
Well, the only thing Bigfoot can hope for is fast loser.
Yeah, and I don't know, because Deihl Wilson made a great pass. And we've still got a set of trucks to go.
Yeah, Executioner and Samson, which is not a pair of weak trucks by any stretch of imagination.
Oh, please. Hey, neither one of these guys got a walk in the park. You know, Patrick tells me that his motor...
Wow, how about this, Mike? We are now being told that Firestone Wilderness jumped the gun, which would be basically like a red light at an NHRA national event. So that gives a win to Bigfoot.
Well, we talked about in that replay how far out Meagher was on Bigfoot when Bigfoot left. Well, there is the exact reason why, because he jumped the gun.
You are on board with Dan Patrick and Samson as he backs that beautiful Chevy up.
Oh, this should be a great ride. Dan says the horsepower up on this truck about twice what it was last year.
And that's what he's going to see when he hits that first set of cars. Nothing but the Metrodome roof. Now, you see them shut the motor off and raise their hands up, Mike.
Well, RII, remote ignition interrupter, and that is something that shuts the engine off in case there was a problem. There is a gentleman standing on the sidelines that makes a decision whether to kill the motor. And what they do is test that shut-off button. And that, when they raise their hands, then they shut the truck down. Another sign of safety from the good folks at USA Motorsports. It's going to be a great race. I mean, a great race. Patrick Allen.
I think Dan Patrick and Samson. No, we got another one upside down.
Uh-oh.
Executioner on its roof.
I saw it coming, and there was nothing you could do about it. But, Ralph, I want to refresh your memory. You wasn't there, but I want to refresh your memory. Memphis, Tennessee, first race of the year last year. Executioner on its roof.
Yep. Yep. Here it is again, Mike. Watch that right lane.
The race is good. There's not a problem with the race. Patrick is just out. He covers it. He gets off to the side, but he can't stop it. He's out there on on the pavement, and it's just as slick as glass. He starts sliding. Then when he gets down here to the turtle shells, the truck rolls over, and there's nothing, absolutely not one thing that can be done about it.
Those are the 2 bumps or set of bumps down there for the Pro Arena truck course. And when he got down there into that, that's what really upset the balance.
Well, maybe we could take a look at that just one more time because of the way that went. Let's go on board with Samson first, Mike, and see what Dan Patrick saw, and I guarantee you a lot of it is going to be the roof of the Metrodome. Oh, he had a beautiful run. Now, right. Still in. Now he's in second gear, and it's over with.
Meanwhile, just off to his right.
Yeah, that didn't take long, did it?
Executioner was going upside down. There's Dan Patrick walking back after checking to see how his
yes, I'd like
competitor
to do that.
Was doing.
This is going to be great because we're going to take a look one more time at what happened to the Executioner. And I think it'll become very obvious this time around. Now watch when he comes off to the cars, he gets over on this side. There's no dirt over here. And this part of the arena is just becomes, the floor is very slick. Well, there's no way of stopping the truck, and then he hits these bumps right in here, and the truck just lays over on its side.
Well, Mark Hall is the driver of the Executioner. He is out of the truck, and he is with Dave Burns. And he's been doing this a lot of years, and flipping is something he doesn't ever want to get used to. Mark, what happened at the end of the course?
I don't know. I think we had a good run going, and I don't know. I had a good run going, and then when I come off the landed there, I think I got onto the concrete there a little bit, and then I got into the tough truck course, and that just put me over.
Anyway, I mean, you were driving it obviously there at the end, but they're pretty tough to save when they're that far over.
Yeah, we was working at it, but I don't know. I think it was just carrying too much momentum, and then we got on that concrete and started sliding around. So.
All right, a quick exit in the side-by-sides for the Executioner.
So Mark Hall is done for the night. Executioner knocked out of the competition. We'll be back with more. Can Firestone Wilderness bounce back? We'll find out when we return to the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. USA Motorsports, TNN's Motor Madness getting together once again for Monster Truck Challenge, this time in 1998, and we do it from the Minneapolis, Minnesota Metrodome. Snowmobile racing back at it once again. We are through round number 1 of the Monster Truck drag races. So now it's up to Jones and McCurdy on their snowmobiles. Jim Jones going against Brian McCurdy. Hand on the throttle. Wow, that was a powerful run. And it looks like Jim Jones will get the win there.
Watch Jones off the starting line, jumps him about a half of a snowmobile and then pulls to the full length of it at the other end.
Did you see the rear end of that machine sliding a little bit to the left?
That was great. If I'd have been riding, it'd have been sliding a lot more than a little bit.
3 more pairs to go. There's those big spikes getting ready to get stuck down in the dirt. Look at the size of those things, a good inch, inch and a half. Down.
Well, they look like half-inch bolts, Ralph, that have been put through there with a nut on the end of them, and then they taper the end of the bolt.
This should be Heinston and Soma going at it. Oh, and I think Soma's going to get the win here.
Yes, the green snowmobile jumped out of the starting line area, but that wasn't enough to carry him through the wind.
That's Bob Soma. Now there's a difference here in the starting techniques with these two. Look at how Heinston stands and Soma sits.
Well, what he's trying to do is transfer the weight to the back, put all the traction on this back tread. Just didn't work on the big end.
Boy, Soma just pulled away. Glenn Hall and Joe Reese, the next pair.
Ooh, that's slamming it in the ground. 8.
Glenn Hall's on the left. The yellow. Ski-Doo.
800 cc.
That's a lot of oomph.
Yes, it is. You know, I know how they can plant the back of that a lot better. Just
you want it?
Put a lurch on it.
Oh, yeah, that is too good. Whoa! Well, Glenn Hall.
No. But he does know what the track's like.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a lot to hang on to when that thing comes rocketing out of there.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know if there's a problem with Reese's machine or what.
Looks like it didn't run quite the way it should.
And that Arctic Cat didn't go anywhere.
And there's the little dolly that'll pick it up and take it home. Well, this is serious.
Actually, it looks like Hall's coming back to do it again. No, now they're waving him off. So I guess they're going to give the win to Hall because Reese's machine didn't make it. So give the victory to Glenn Hall on the Arctic Cat.
Now we just okay.
So Jones and Soma now come back out for the final race of the night.
Some of the stories that these snowmobile racers can tell you about racing in sub-zero temperature where they pick up a wrench and it's so cold it sticks to your hands.
This is the final snowmobile race, I guess, before the break. Guess we might have one more before we're done. And Soma and Jones going at it, and Jones, I think, gets the win on the blue machine.
Blue machine was the win, pulled it off right at the end of the track.
We should have some more of the snowmobiles when we come back a little bit later.
Runs well right in the far end of the track. There's where it pulled ahead.
Well, I can't guarantee you that the snowmobiles will be on every round of the USA Series, but they are going to be crisscrossing the countryside. Take a look at these dates, find one near you, and come check it out in person. Well, the second and final round of Pro Arena truck getting set to go. Don Williams stunned him in round number one, a 27-17. But look at how close the top competition is as you take a look at the top 15 names that are coming back for the second round of Fast 15 competition. One of these 15 will be the winner here tonight. And I think, Mike, that the Hopkins brothers and Joe Brozovich and Mike Russ. What is
we had
that?
but due to time constraint, we couldn't get them all in. We had one entry that we didn't get in, and here he comes across the finish line. Oh, look at this. Who is that?
Hey, I never lifted, okay?
Oh, no.
I never lifted. That foot was flat to the floor and the throttle stuck. And
yeah, and it was so scary, Ralph. I was so proud of you.
Did you see all four wheels almost come off the ground?
No, Ralph, I didn't even see all four wheels moving.
Yeah. 71 truck and Jim Hopkins, he ran a 35 in the first round, and I think that a 29. He's out there now.
Burying on the throttle. I wonder what's going to happen down here where they had the crash. Well, it just made it faster because no one's going to slow up there now. Picks the left front, go for it. It's going to be a big one.
23.81.
Oh, yes.
That is quick time by a bunch, and Mike, he took a shot when he got to the other side.
I really think they could go faster than that, Ralph. It looked like he just kind of laid around the first part of that course.
Watch the shot that he's going to take after he makes it across his final jump.
Well, he broke the back end of the truck loose to spin it around, and then when he did that, he was wide open, a good angle, hard landing, but it's over with. Who cares about that?
23.81. That is phenomenal. That is 4 seconds almost quicker than we saw on any other run in the first round.
Well, that could change now.
The fastest one was a 27.17, and we're about to go on board with Brozovich now.
Can Bros pull off 3 in a row? If he does, he's going to have to get the rabbit. He's going to have to get the rabbit out of the hat.
You're going to go for a ride with Joe Brozovich.
Got to be a no-holds barred.
He's got to lay it all out.
Joe, you got to go harder than that. Got to get on it. Oh.
Searching through the gears. Boy, that was rough through there.
He's there. Look at this.
That was rough through there. Oh, boy, up on 2 wheels. Here comes a run to the final jump. He's going to fly this Bronco, and you're going with him. 24 even. Mike, he didn't do it. He did not do it. 24 even.
I thought it was a good run. When he went down the straightaway, directly in front of us, in front of the turtle shells, it looked like he was wide open, and I thought he had a good turn, but he just couldn't get around and make that finish line.
Hey, it was a good run. He picked up over 3 full seconds, almost full 4 seconds off of his first run,
Yeah.
but it still wasn't good enough.
No, I'm getting word that there may be some penalties involved. We'll kind of watch, but look at it. Lifts the left front up. That there's where he lost time, Ralph. Anytime you bicycle, put one up on two wheels.
He went over that pylon right there. That's where the penalty was.
Yeah, cost him big penalties.
And he almost came close to not stopping in time, too, at the far end. Let's check in with Dave Burns, who's with Brozo.
Well, Ralph, he made it pretty fast. He took a lot of time off there, but Joe, just how hard did you have to drive it? How wild was that?
I knew I had to do something spectacular to beat Hopkins. I'm just under par, but I try to make up for driving. I got to thank Rockdale Automotive, BF Goodrich Ford Motor Company, Autometer, everybody to help me. I tried doing my best. I just couldn't do it.
All right, he's going to try to make up some ground back at Des Moines.
Well, I think the 97 champ is far from done this year, don't you?
I think he's going to have to build more horsepower, and he may have to work on the truck just a little bit.
David Peplow ran a 30.87 in round number 1.
Ranger 9.
Out of Gurneyville, California.
Now, remember, he ran that with the tire blowed out of the right front. Remember that part of it?
That's right.
He went that fast, but that was on 3 tires. Now he's got 4. There's no telling what this little Ranger will do this time.
He's got the lights on, too. He must be serious.
And the radio's turned up loud, too. Looks good. 17-second mark at this point.
Boy, he sailed right through the turtles. Here he comes, the final run.
This time, though.
He's off the clock. 27-12. Well, he still picked up 3 seconds.
All of them are going to pick up time in this part because they all know that you got to go for broke.
Well, here's the one that is really going to be wild coming up after this as we take one more look at Peplow.
Moves him into the number 2 spot, but it would move him into the number 2 spot as he hangs it out and goes for the finish line.
Well, we already saw what Jim Hopkins could do at 23.81. Now it's brother Steve's turn. He ran a 28.18 in the first round.
I think he can do it, Ralph.
We're going to find out. You know, they talked about it.
You got to keep it on the ground. You got to keep the tires turning.
Oh, stood it up there. That hurt
It's
him.
not going to work. And he had that problem earlier where he goes a considerable amount. Now
he got through there good.
Got through there well, and let's see how he handles this last one. This is important. You need to be off of it. You need to kick the back end out. Go for that finish line. You need to kick the back end out of that. Uh-oh!
Big flyer! Big trouble!
My heavens, there's some people that can move very fast down there in that area.
Yes, there is. And he would have, I think he'd be penalized for not being able to stop down there, wouldn't he, too? He gets through here real good.
Turtle shells. And the way he does that is got the truck, the left side of the truck, completely off of the turtle shells. Now, this is where he needed to kick the back of the truck out. Just wouldn't come around on him, and he kicked the back of the truck out. He probably could have got a second off that deal. But when he come across at that angle, the only thing there is wrecked cars. You better hold on when that happens. He gets stopped in plenty of
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. That puts him in second.
All right. Now, here's that little Samurai with 81 cubic inches. Big difference there.
That's right.
Chuck
Over
Dunn,
the normal
Rapid Duty, Minnesota.
Tired.
Quite possibly the beefiest Samurai you've ever seen.
Well, he's sure showing him the way home right now. Butterfly.
Swirling, more like a gnat through there.
Yeah. You got to think that those little bumps look like huge mountains in that Samurai.
I tell you what, I hope he brings this thing to one of the tight courses. It is really quick.
Oh, he could be a winner.
28.35.
And it stops well also.
Well, he picked up a second and a half.
Well, you could put it in a suitcase.
Well, yeah, you know. Carry on, man.
Yeah.
Put on the overhead.
Up above. Good tight turn. Of course, you would have a good tight turn in this, but just not enough horsepower. The 81 cubic inches aren't happening tonight.
Boy, if he brings that thing to Des Moines or Peoria, you could be looking at a winner. We'll be looking at a lot more pro arena truck competition when we come back to the Metrodome. Don't you miss it. And Dave Burns is caught up with one of the guys who, not only Dave was he quick in 97, but he seems to be pretty quick here in 98.
Yeah, every time we pointed a camera at him last year, Ralph, he just picked up all kinds of speed. But you really picked up speed on the course for your first or your second round. Where did you think you were going to pick it up so fast?
I picked it all up over where the whoopie-does are beside the car on the far end of the track, where we're parked. It wasn't near as rough as I thought it was going to be. I went to school on the first round. I did drop way back in the first round. It kind of worried me. I made it up the second round, and it feels great.
And you know what, Ralph? Don Williams, who was the fastest runner so far, he told me that's where he plans to pick up all his speed in the second round, too.
Now, that is going to be a spot to keep an eye on. This concoction truck of Bill McCoy is set to take his second run of the night.
Bill is going to get this V6 to work before the year's over, and this may be the night.
4.3 liter V6.
Everything looks good, doesn't it?
Oh, a lot of sparks, Mike, and a lot of fluid, it looked like, coming out.
Yeah, he's busted the transfer case, Ralph.
He's done.
Right there, the transfer case is gone.
A lot of liquid.
Oh, that cost him. He thought he could run those whoops as hard as anyone else. Look right here, that is coming right down from the transfer case, which comes out of the transmission, back of the transmission, and it converts the power to power both the front wheels and the back wheels.
You can see the sparks as he came through the whoop. Once right in here, you'll see the sparks.
Right in this area. Okay, there he goes right there. Now. See right there? That's when he ripped the bottom out of the transfer case. Now the oil is pouring out of it as he goes this way, and he knows he's in trouble. You can just see the oil coming by the bottom of it, making piles. It's marking its spot, is what it's doing.
You can see him, Bill was looking down. He can feel the power draining out of it, and concoction is done.
Not exactly what you'd want on the last run of the night.
No. No. Well, let's check in with Dave Burns then.
Well, you know what, Ralph? You see all kinds of things around here. Now, this is Dario Urbalejo. Now, Dario works tonight, but you wanted to get this gig here. You asked for this, didn't you? You a big fan?
Oh, yes. I'm glad I'm here. I've worked the Dome before, but this is the ultimate for me. I followed TNN all the way through with the monster trucks. I watched it in Arizona. Hello, Guadalupe, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm saying hi.
You know what, and Ralph, I think in the fall of '98, we might hit Dario up for some Vikings tickets. What do you think?
I'm not above that. I could do that.
And you would?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Where I had rather go to the races.
I didn't say I would rather go to the races. I just said that if we're here and like the Vikings are playing the next night, I'd be willing to stick around and go to a game.
Oh, sure, Ralph. Sometimes you worry me a lot.
Jeff went in the 11. 28.96 on his first run as we pull Bill McCoy off. He ran at 29.45, did McCoy in his first run.
This is a good running truck.
Well, this is the one we showed you the video of going upside down at Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when the oil pan is up on a Pro Arena truck. Not a good move. Here we go.
You thought a lot about that, didn't you?
I didn't. And you didn't. All right, let's see if he can handle the whoops like everyone else has. The heavier vehicles are getting around the whoops well.
He's really on and off the throttle too much, isn't he?
He lost a lot of time when he came off that set of cars just a moment ago, and he backs out of it right there. You can't back. You got to just go hammer down all the way. But if you've been upside down as many times as this guy, you wouldn't want to do anything like that. Hello, here's the cars.
27.49. He picks up a second and a half.
I kind of like the landing with the cars.
Adds a little extra to it.
For 6th place, he backs out of the throttle. You need to kick the back end out a long ways. Picks the left front up, but the back end has to come around much like you would a sprint car in our series. Get the back end of it around and drive it home.
And I don't think he was fully into the throttle on that run to the checker there. It sounded like this is about 3/4 of the way. You really need to be foot to the floor going for it like Rory Fisher's going to do here. Truck number 13 at 29.21 in round number 1 for the Moline, Illinois driver.
Now you want to be real comfortable. You want both feet flat on the floor. Don't touch the brakes, just give it to gas. Ooh. It hurts when you nose over like that. Now he's going to try to go over the whoop, fine style, but they're a lot lighter and they get to flopping around a little bit. You just can't keep it down. Now Now here's a guy that'll spin the back of it around.
Gives you a try, just not enough horsepower to really kick it over there, but he puts it across at a 28-12.
When he barred this truck the first time, there wasn't a scratch anywhere. Went out and turned it over first race.
Well, the guy he borrowed from it this time said, please don't roll it again. He so far did a pretty good job of keeping it upright. He did pick up the second on this second run, but look at the front end just diving down on it.
Can't go fast with the nose in the dirt. But it's 8th place.
Now you watch that front end go right back down again as he goes over this big jump.
And the big one. The Dukes of Hazzard jump.
Now Rick Witt came out with this big Jeep. This thing won't have any problem keeping itself welded to those bumps.
Well, and that's correct, and it's 400 plus cubic inches. So he's got enough power to handle anything they've got tonight. If he doesn't break it coming over some jump, he could be the winner, but he really looks like he's slacking off of it a lot, Ralph.
Yeah, he's got to beat a 23.81, and that ain't the way to do it.
No, he tried to make up some ground at that point, but it was a little late, I think, for the program.
Yeah, he's going to be off, but he's going to give it a good shot. Here he comes.
Making good ambulance with it.
Whoa! Drive through it. Nice.
That's what David Morris tried to do.
Yep.
Good
You're right.
try. Hey, that's 3rd place, Ralph.
Yeah, he picked up a couple of seconds, 25 plus.
That's pretty shiny. Okay, you get this big boat headed in that direction with that much horsepower and that much weight, the stopping point becomes impossible. Now he's got the brakes locked up. Ooh. No, it's not going to happen.
And he had to drive through to keep from rolling.
Yeah, you got to give it to gas when you're in that kind of a situation.
Killing time. This is Sonny Dorman, who ran a 29.02 in the first round. Comes into it 13th.
What happened to Sonny on the starting line? Looked like he started to lead, the tires spun, and the truck didn't launch. His truck seems to be set up real well. And he kicks the back of it around great that time. Over the whoops in good shape. Motor sounds like it's really working hard. Very good all the way around. Now he's got the tires cut. He just slings it around. There he gets some movement out of the back of it, lines it up to the finish line.
Well, you know, that was a nice run with a 27.25, but just not going to be enough to knock off Jim Hopkins' blistering 23.81. Mike, the closest we've seen is Brozovich at 24, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough from what we've seen to get below that 23.81. Some of the stiffest competition is already run, and Hopkins is still sitting there on top of it. Well, we've got a couple of trucks left to go when we come back. Can somebody get into that 23-second bracket and knock Jim Hopkins off? Just have to stick around and find out as T&N's Motor Madness rolls on from the Metrodome. And Dave Burns has caught up with one of the guys who, not only Dave was he quick in 97, but he seems to be pretty quick here in 98.
Yeah, every time we pointed a camera at him last year, Ralph, he just picked up all kinds of speed, but you really picked up speed on the course for your first or your second round. Where did you think you were going to pick it up so fast?
I picked it all up over where the whoopty-doos are beside the car on the far end of the track where we're parked. It wasn't near as rough as I thought it was going to be. I went to school on the first round. I did drop way back in the first round. It kind of worried me. I made it up the second round, and it feels great.
You know what, Ralph? Don Williams, who was the fastest runner so far, he told me that's where he plans to pick up all his speed in the second round, too.
Now, that is going to be a spot to keep an eye on. This concoction truck of Bill McCoy is set to take his second run of the night.
Bill is going to get this V6 to work before the year's over, and this may be the night.
4.3 liter V6.
Everything looks good, doesn't it?
Oh, a lot of sparks, Mike, and a lot of fluid it looked like coming out.
Yeah, he's busted the transfer case, Ralph.
He's done.
Right there, the transfer case is gone.
A lot of liquid.
Oh, that cost him. He thought he could run those whoops as hard as anyone else. Look right here, that is coming right down from the transfer case, which comes out of the transmission, back of the transmission, and it converts the power to power of both the front wheels and the back wheels.
You can see the sparks as he came through the whoop. Watch right in here, you'll see the sparks.
Right in this area. Okay, there he goes now. See right there? That's when he ripped the bottom out of the transfer case. Now the oil is pouring out of it as he goes this way, and he knows he's in trouble. You can just see the oil coming by the bottom of it, making piles. It's marking its spot, is what it's doing.
You can see him, Bill was looking down. He can feel the power draining out of it, and concoction is done.
Not exactly what you'd want on the last run of the night.
No. No. Well, let's check in with Dave Burns then.
Well, you know what, Ralph? You see all kinds of things around here. Now, this is Dario Urbalejo. Now, Dario works tonight, but you wanted to get this gig here. You asked for this, didn't you? You a big fan?
Oh, yes. I'm glad I'm here. I've worked the Dome before, but this is the ultimate for me. I followed TNN all the way through with the monster trucks. I watched it in Arizona. Hello, Guadalupe, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm saying hi.
You know what, and Ralph, I think in the fall of '98, we might hit Dario up for some Vikings tickets. What do you think?
I'm not above that. I could do that.
And you would?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Where I had rather go to the races.
I didn't say I would rather go to the races. I just said that if we're here and like the Vikings are playing the next night, I'd be willing to stick around and go to a game.
Oh, sure, Ralph. Sometimes you worry me a lot.
Jeff went in the 11. 28.96 on his first run as we pull Bill McCoy off. He ran at 29.45, did McCoy in his first run.
This is a good running truck.
Well, this is the one we showed you the video of going upside down at Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when the oil pan is up on a pro arena truck. Not a good move. Here we go.
You thought a lot about that, didn't you?
I didn't. And you didn't. All right, let's see if he can handle the whoops like everyone else has. The heavier vehicles are getting around the whoops well.
He's really on and off the throttle too much, isn't he?
He lost a lot of time when he came off that set of cars just a moment ago, and he backs out of it right there. You can't back. You got to just go hammer down all the way. But if you've been upside down as many times as this guy, you wouldn't want to do anything like that. Hello, here's the cars.
27.49. He picks up a second and a half.
I kind of like the landing with the cars.
Adds a little extra to it.
For 6th place, he backs out of the throttle. You need to kick the back end out a long ways. Picks the left front up, but the back end has to come around much like you would a sprint car in our series. Get the back end of it around and drive it home.
And I don't think he was fully into the throttle on that run to the checker there. It sounded like this is about 3/4 of the way. You really need to be foot to the floor going for it like Rory Fisher's going to do here. Truck number 13 at 29.21 in round number 1 for the Moline, Illinois driver.
Now you want to be real comfortable. You want both feet flat on the floor. Don't touch the brakes, just give it to gas. Ooh. It hurts when you nose over like that. Now he's going to try to go over the whoop, fine style, but they're a lot lighter and they get to flopping around a little bit. You just can't keep it down. Now here's a guy that'll spin the back of it around.
Gives it a try, just not enough horsepower to really kick it over there, but he puts it across at a 28.12.
When he barred this truck the first time, there wasn't a scratch anywhere. Went out and turned it over first race.
Well, the guy he borrowed from it this time said, please don't roll it again. He so far did a pretty good job of keeping it upright. He did pick up the second on this second run, but look at the front end just diving down on it.
Can't go fast with the nose in the dirt. But it's 8th place.
Now you watch that front end go right back down again as he goes over the big jump.
And the big one. The Dukes of Hazzard jump.
Now Rick Witt came out with this big Jeep. This thing won't have any problem keeping itself welded to those bumps.
Well, and that's correct, and it's 400 plus cubic inches. So he's got enough power to handle anything they've got tonight. If he doesn't break it coming over some jump, he could be the winner, but he really looks like he's slacking off of it a lot, Ralph.
Yeah, he's got to beat a 23.81, and that ain't the way to do it.
No, he tried to make up some ground at that point, but it was a little late, I think, for the program.
Yeah, he's going to be off, but he's going to give it a good shot. Here he comes.
Making good ambulance with it.
Whoa! Oh, drive through it. Nice.
That's what David Morris tried to do.
Yep.
Good
You're right.
try. Hey, that's third place, Ralph.
Yeah, he picked up a couple of seconds, 25 plus.
That's pretty shiny. Okay, get this big boat headed out in that direction with that much horsepower and that much weight. The stopping point becomes impossible. Now he's got the brakes locked up. Ooh. No, it's not going to happen.
And he had to drive through to keep from rolling.
Yeah, you got to give it to gas when you're in that kind of a situation.
Killing time. This is Sonny Dorman, who ran a 29.02 in the first round. Comes into it 13th.
What happened to Sonny on the starting line? Looked like he started to leave, the tires spun, and the truck didn't launch. His truck seems to be set up real well. And he kicks the back of it around great that time. Over the whoops in good shape. Motor sounds like it's really working hard. Very good all the way around. Now he's got the tires cut. He just slings it around. There he gets some movement out of the back of it, lining it up for the finish line.
Well, you know, that was a nice run with a 27.25, but just not going to be enough to knock off Jim Hopkins' blistering 23.81. Mike, the closest we've seen is Brozovich at 24. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough from what we've seen to get below that 23.81. Some of the stiffest competition is already run, and Hopkins is still sitting there on top of it. Well, we've got a couple of trucks left to go when we come back. Can somebody get into that 23-second bracket and knock Jim Hopkins off? Just have to stick around and find out as TNN's Motor Madness rolls on from the Metrodome. Here's a look at the top 5 as they currently stand here as we work our way through round number 2. Jim Hopkins, boy, that blistering 23.81 looks like it's going to be the time to beat here, and it might be virtually impossible to beat, I think.
Oh, I don't know. We haven't seen Don Williams yet.
Well, let's talk to him. He's with Dave Burns.
Ralph, it does sound kind of impossible, but Don Williams set the standard in round number 1, so Don will ask the question, is there any way in the world you can beat a 23.81 in round 2?
Well, I'll tell you what, those Hopkins boys, they've been tough to beat. We're going to put the hammer down and see what happens.
All right, he'll be out in a couple.
Yes, he will. And we're going to start off, though, with Mike Nelson, truck number 14.
Still not running four-wheel drive. I think they intended to. They lost a tire evidently on the right front. They put a range. Oh! Never mind.
My, that's a shot.
It's a large shot.
I like the wave at the window.
Of all people, that was the last one I thought that would ever happen to.
Well, the wave obviously to let everybody know he's okay.
I wish I was down there to help.
Not quite as light as you might think. Here he goes. Now let's see what happens to him. Well, he gets over this first one pretty hard right there.
Yeah, the suspension working, but right in here. Now what's going to happen? He's going to nosedive when he comes down, lands right in this area, and loses this tire. I see that now. When that happens, you can see all the air come out. Watch when that tire hits the ground. You'll see a big puff of white smoke. That's all the air escaping out of the tire. Good shape here. Now this is where we got a problem there. All right, we're all right. One more time over this jump. This is where we're going to get in trouble. Watch right in here. That's it. And it buries into the ground. It sticks. It won't roll. And when that happens, the truck is going over on its side.
And you got
lost both
two flat tires down there, Dave.
Yeah, we're standing on the good side of the truck, Ralph, and Mike Nelson has a smile on his face. Mike, I've never done that before. What does that feel like?
I really don't know. I might tell you tomorrow, though. No, I don't know what actually happened, what I did wrong, but it just come around, and all of a sudden there it was. So I really don't know.
Now, we've been talking a lot about this truck tonight. Did you change anything this year from last on this truck?
I tried changing the spring ratios a little bit, but it just hasn't worked. So I don't know what I have to do.
He'll give it a try at Des Moines, guys.
Well, the 1998 season is beginning right here in the Metrodome And the 1998 season is going to finish right here in the Metrodome as well. We'll be back here just after Thanksgiving 1998 to finish this thing off.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great because they're going to accumulate points all year long. The best of the best are going to come back and race in the Metrodome into this year. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to it. I'm geared. I'm ready to go. I'd say his spring ratio not working is definitely an understatement.
Well, it is going to be a full season of racing with the Pro Arena trucks and monster trucks, but don't forget, if you want some more to get you through the long weeks while you're waiting for the next weekend's worth of racing, pick up a copy of Monster Trucks and Pros and Thunder and Lightning of Arena Racing. It's just $15.99 plus $4 shipping and handling. Call that 1-800 number or write to the guys at Monster Trucks, P.O. Box 22499 in Kansas City, Missouri, 64112-0499. Give us about 4 weeks for Mike to get one of those Velvet Professor posters signed for you and sealed and stuffed into the box. If they ever get them made, shipped off to you.
There's Joe. They've got the jack over working on it.
Mike Nelson talking to the crowd.
On the hook.
And this is one of the ones we were waiting for, Mike. This is Don Williams. 27-17 was awfully strong in round number 1, and everybody's kind of looking at him as maybe the last real good shot at Hopkins.
The truck didn't lead very hard. It didn't leave the starting line very hard, but the momentum is working for it now. I think this is going to see a lot of speed in this area.
Boy, he shifted right through there.
He shifted the truck, and when he did, it just like it exploded off of there. He can do it.
Oh, boy, he's flying. Here he comes.
Got a little wide on that corner. Let's see. Oh, no.
Just shy, 24.80.
I really think that truck has got one of those 23-second runs in it.
Now we're hearing that maybe he hit a stake out there, too. That would be too bad. That 24.80 would be a good time. Let's see. Here he comes.
All right. Boy, he's got the hammer down on it. That truck is heavy enough that it keeps the back of it glued to the ground. Watch when he makes this turn right in this area right here.
Stake.
There's the stake going out down, but right in this area, the truck swings out too wide before he gets lined up for the jump.
Well, there's the stake busted, and Dave Burns with the driver.
Okay, here we go. Ralph Shaheen, Don Williams. He's a little smoking over here, but Don, could you have gotten any more out of it?
Yeah, I think I could have got a little bit more out of it. We got some fine-tuning to do on the carburetor a little bit. We'll get these boys on the road.
He's looking to the future, guys.
Well, this is a team, Mike, that last year came into the series just getting acclimated with everything. This year, they seem to have the attitude of, we're here not just to race for wins, but to race for the championship. Mike Rosenthal said.
They want it. I don't know if Rosenthal's got enough weight to cover all this. 4 horsepower.
Well,
I know he's got the driving ability.
27-26 in round number 1.
But when one found out you could run those whoops wide open, they all tried it.
Whoop, that hurt him.
Yeah, he got it out there wide, trying to make the turn. Not tonight, but a good run for Rosenthal. Wow, it's been a wild night.
It really has been intriguing. 26-18 for Rosenthal. That's going to move him up a little bit. And we are down to the last couple of competitors as we watch the final run to the last jump for Rosenthal.
Big air for Rosenthal. Moves up to 4th spot, which is an excellent, excellent pass for that truck. I like that little truck. Well, the West Coast boys are here.
Let's see what he can do.
It did not have the kind of run he's used to the first time around. Just keeps backing out of that throttle, and that's not his style.
No, that's not the way to get it done either. You got to be flat to the floor here as much as you can.
Singing on it now, but it's a little late, I do believe.
Oh, yeah. He's right in the corner at 22, and 23 is where you got to be at the finish.
Run hard to the finish line. Here again, I think you're going to see this truck shine a lot better in a small arena.
He's going for some air.
He's hyperventilating just a little bit, Ralph.
I think that last jump knocked some wind out of it, Mike. Watch him in the cab here.
See if he goes forward on those belts, and if that happens, oh yeah, you see his head go down. That'll take the air out of you in a hurry. You can watch him going to... Oh yeah. He's got in a little trouble, but he's okay. He'll be fine. Still trying to get his breath, though.
So Osmond now stuck up on the cars. They're going to need a tow truck to get him out of there. So they're going to check on Hosman to make sure he's okay, and let's check in with Dave Burns.
Now, Jim Hopkins knows there's one more competitor to go, but it's going to be pretty tough to beat it. Can you believe how fast your time has been compared to everybody else's?
No, I can't. I really can't. I mean, I went to school on it. I knew where I could make up time. I didn't think I'd make up that much. I mean, I'm surprised. It floored me.
Now, is this something you think you can take to the next track to Des Moines? And did you learn that much, do you think, or was this just luck?
I don't think it was all luck. I had good luck with the truck last year. I think I can do the same in Des Moines. I'm going to hope so.
All right. We'll see in a week.
But Greg Hosman took a hard lick as he came off that last jump, and the USA crew is taking a look at him to make sure he's okay. So while they do that, we will come back shortly with the final run in Pro Arena Trucks for tonight. Stay with us. We'll be wrapping them up when we come back to Minnesota. The last run of the night for the Pro Arena Trucks getting set to go on our opening edition of TNN's Motor Madness for 1998. It'll be Rick Armbruster, truck number 29. 28.59 in round number 1. He's trying to beat a 23.81 by Jim Hopkins. Pretty trick little truck, Galloway. He might be able to do it.
He's got to go for broke if he... There.
Well, that ain't the way to do it.
Didn't fall over, though. He has got to go for broke if he thinks he's going to win this. And I don't know
what... It doesn't sound good, Mike, at all.
One, you know, you get a truck built like this, then you got to change motor. And he's running basically stock motor he had last year in his Blazer. Sound all that cherry.
Yeah.
But the truck.
That gives the win to Jim Hopkins with a 23.81. There he is celebrating. And that could be a sign of things to come in the 1998 Pro Arena Truck season here on TNN. We talked about him at the very beginning of the show. He is going to be one to watch to knock off Brozovich. You can see him say, here we go. He's watching Armbruster run to see how he did. He had to feel pretty good right there.
Well, I don't know. He's still on the edge, isn't he, Ralph? He's still, it's not over with till that checkered flag falls, and this guy hasn't got a smile yet.
Rory Fisher watching as well behind him.
He's serious now. He's looking at the clock. When he looks over, he looks at the clock.
And he got it. He is our winner, Jim Hopkins. Dave Burns.
He sure is, Ralph. First winner in 1998. Jim Hopkins, how much do you like the TV races?
Love them. I love them. They do something to me, and I don't know what it is, and it doesn't work when the TV's not there. I just keep it coming on.
So do you want us to come to all 20-some-odd events they have? Is that what you'd like?
Please.
We'll work on that for the year 2000, maybe.
Well, I can't guarantee we're going to make them all this year, Jim, but we're going to make a pretty good amount of them. Jim Hopkins on his way maybe to a Pro Arena Truck Championship. Don Williams comes home in 7th. We'll be back with the Monsters and Snowmobiles after these words. And the Snowmobile is now getting set to wrap up their night of action here. These will be the semis and then into the final, Mike.
I think we're there, Ralph. Who knows?
That is Bob Soma, who is going to go up against Jim Jones. This should be the final, I'm told, for 600.
It is now.
Soma's on the right, Jones on the left. Jones the winner.
Big time.
So Jim Jones gets the 600 win. Pretty stout performance, too. Boy, he's got a rocket ship.
Well, and he didn't jump out of the hole. He about mid-track before the Yamaha ever took power to the ground and went on for the lead and the win. This should be the... Okay, now, would this be top eliminator? Would this be the 600 racing the 800?
I'm thinking that's quite possibly what we're looking at here.
600 racing.
We apologize, folks, but the gang at the Snowmobile group that is organizing this deal has been a little slow in passing information upstairs to Mike and I, so we're kind of guessing as you are as to what we're seeing. So now this is Jones versus Hall for the final for the 800, and the 800 is going to put away that 600 pretty easy.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
So Hall gets the win there. So there you go. So the Arctic Cat with the 800, just too much horsepower.
The 200 cc's more just won't work. But he gave it a good shot, a great try.
Sure did. Well, the snowmobiles have been wrapped up. Pro Arena trucks have been wrapped up. But we got some more high-flying monster truck drag racing coming your way as we come back to snow-ridden Minneapolis right after this. There's Bigfoot getting set to go in this side-by-side drag race. He's going to go up against Bulldozer. And Mike, I know you give me a hard time about picking on him. As you folks take a look at the graphic here for the brackets, I'm going to point out to you, Mike, that in Kansas City last year and in Denver, Bulldozer went up against Bigfoot in the finals and beat him both times.
I know, Ralph, you just shoved the paper in my face and made me look at that.
By the way, Executioner will be the fast loser. He'll come back to battle up against Samson. And Samson was a drag race winner as well in '97. He won early in the year at Des Moines, so he's a good drag racer.
Ralph, this is no bull. Tonight's not the night.
Getting in close to the finals of the side-by-side. Bulldozer on your right, Bigfoot on the left. How about that bull?
Hold on. Ralph, this is no bull.
Bulldozer won.
It's a bull night.
Oh, baby.
And that's no baloney.
Now he's got to do is blow some smoke for me.
Oh, please, Ralph.
Come on, blow some smoke.
Come on, Ralph. Lighten up just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, just go right over the barrier.
Yeah, I broke out of the pasture.
Here's an ISO on the Bulldozer. Let's see how he did it. Almost knocked a tooth out there with that right front tire. And Mike, that is not a truck with the most horsepower either.
No, Dan Runte told me earlier in the day that the truck with the combination of motor in it would either be ultimately fast or just wouldn't run at all. And it wasn't ultimately fast. But the Bulldozer was, Ralph.
So Samson now goes up against the fast loser, which is Executioner. Dave Burns, what's the story on Executioner? I wasn't sure we were going to see him again.
That's right, Ralph. We thought he was done for the night, but I just talked to Tim Hall, who is a crew chief and brother of Mark Hall, who's driving tonight, and he said they had no real damage to the truck. They fired it up. It turned over okay, but they did say this. They're not going to run it quite as hard as they normally would because of the rollover. They're hoping Dan Patrick makes a mistake.
I would go with that theory in the obstacle course, Mike. But I think here on the side-by-side, you pretty much got to let it all hang out, and I don't foresee Dan Patrick making a mistake. Do you?
I don't think so this evening.
Now, I understand that they don't really have much of a choice because they don't know, really, if they have damaged that Executioner truck until they get it home and take a look at it.
Well, you do want to play it safe.
It's a long season.
Still going to get points for coming back and going to another round.
That's right.
They'll put them finishing a little higher this evening, which will help when the year-on battle. And he left.
Samson gets the easy win.
Left a little early. Let's see what that ride looked like. Well, that should be fun.
Samson gets the win, and let's see what it looked like from on board.
All right, he just put in a new braking system on it, so he cleaned a lot harder.
watched Samson take the win. Samson and Bulldozer went heads up in the side-by-side competition in Des Moines last year. Samson was the winner. Will he do it again tonight?
Doesn't mean anything.
We'll find out when we come back to Minneapolis in the Metrodome for the finale of the 1998. You know, I was kind of half kidding about Bulldozer chipping a tooth, but from what I understand, Dave, I was maybe right.
Well, Ralph, and you're right, and it's good luck for the Dozer to have chipped teeth. The ones that we have on this side of the truck are new. One is from last week. That's about the 5th molar back. And then in the rear, there's one hanging down there. That happened tonight. These are both new. His chipped tooth from last year was on the other side, and he's got new dental work over there. So the chipped teeth keep it coming. The Bulldozer keeps winning.
Well, can he do it here tonight? We mentioned how he had a couple of wins in the side-by-side last year. Samson a winner against this very truck. Who's going to get it tonight? Samson on the right, Bulldozer on the left. The final of the 1998 season opener.
The Bulls in trouble with Samson and
Samson is the winner here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis in the side-by-side competition.
Well, he said he'd up the horsepower about 50%, and he showed it on that pass tonight, Ralph.
Well, Mike, he's had a pretty good night as we take a look at the roof cam and get all the way into the semis of the obstacle course, and he is the winner of the side-by-side competition. That is really going to set him up nicely in the march towards a championship.
Truck launches well, picks the front end up, and it is just beautiful pass.
It's a great way to debut the new paint scheme on the Samson truck as you go with it. And Patrick flying into victory here tonight.
Doesn't take long, does it?
No, it doesn't. And a great job by Dan Patrick and the entire Samson team as they pick up a win here tonight in the monster truck side by side and as a semi-finalist in the obstacle course. Well, we're not done here at the Metrodome just yet. We got to come back and talk to Dan Patrick, the driver of Samson, find out how he put away Bulldozer and picked up the win here tonight. Stay with us. We'll be wrapping things up. And Motor Madness in USA Motorsports Monster Truck Challenge, the season opener, having just been completed here tonight in the Metrodome. And it's been a great night of racing here too, Mike.
Oh, outstanding and exciting. Couldn't get any more exciting than this, Ralph. I think it's meant for that.
Well, let's check in with Dave Burns downstairs, who's standing by with the winner of our monster truck side-by-side racing event, Dan Patrick, the driver of Samson.
And Ralph, it did not come easy for Dan Patrick. He had a hole in his tire earlier. He had to plug that. Then when he sat at the line for the last round, he knew he was going to blow a $1,200 rear end. But I guess ego and pride and points came into play, Dan. You ran it hard.
Well, this is a tough place to race. You can't take anything for granted. And when we're trying to accrue points for the end of the year, every round counts. So I knew I might have to sacrifice. It hasn't been an easy night, but we got through it.
All right, Dan Patrick, your first monster truck winner in '97.
Yeah, he puts away Guy Wood and the driver of Bulldozer to take the side-by-side portion of the night. Here is a look at the monster truck point standings now. Eric Meagher, the driver of Firestone Wilderness, who sits second here in the point standings, was the winner of the obstacle course. And Mike, when you take a look at that, how do you think that's going to settle out a little bit as we go towards the next round at Des Moines?
I don't think it could come out any closer than it did tonight. No one is a true leader at this point, Ralph.
Now, Pro Arena truck was a whole nother story. I don't know if I necessarily call this an upset. We would have expected to see Brozovich's name at the top, but Jim Hopkins was so strong all last year. And at the beginning of the show tonight, we even said, this is a guy who could knock off Brozovich, and he did it here tonight.
I think the only thing that is an upset about that is how fast he did it.
Well, the bigger problem is the fact that Brozovich finishes all the way back in 10th, so that really will hurt him in the point standings as we move on to Des Moines. He'll have a lot of ground to make up. Well, it was a wild night here in Minnesota, as evidenced by this run from David Morris, the driver of Equalizer. The 1998 racing season is just getting underway. Motor Madness will be a big part of your racing calendar in 1998. We sure hope. We hope you've enjoyed the season opener. Dave Burns, Mike Galloway, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Minnesota, back to Charlotte.
Man, some great action there. And you know what? We're going to continue all this great stuff next Friday right here on Motorman. You're going to join us, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. And tonight, Bigfoot had a case of kind of fallen arches and let Samson drill him. I got a feeling he'll be looking for his revenge in Des Moines next Friday night. We'll be right back with a preview of our 98 schedule and a little bit more.